Welcome back to Weekend Movie Bros, where I am
Nice sync.
Jacob, eh, where I am Jacob,
Thanks.
and that, that is
There,
Idiot.
wow, that was the first time you actually really pointed at the center line. Good job.
That is Idiot. And we are Weekend Movie Bros. Hi, I just want to quickly disclaim that this is a unedited clip from our podcast me and Ray do here on Weekend Movie Bros, and I'm gonna link the podcast up above in case you guys wanted to watch the whole thing. We do mini reviews throughout that, depending on the movies that we see in theaters, and I figured I could make those into their own separate videos while still containing them to the podcast, and so that's what I'm doing. And so this one is coming from the podcast from the thumbnail that you guys can see, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the review. Your next movie review for Scream 6. If you guys watched the last part, this is my favorite movie of the year. But because it's my favorite movie of the year, I go last. Zachary, I want to know about your experience of seeing Scream 6. You saw it like 2 weeks ago. So let me know how you're feeling 2 weeks in to seeing this movie. Are you feeling the same? Where are
I
you
haven't
landed?
stopped thinking about this movie. There are
That's what I'm talking
there
about.
are there are moments in this film that subvert my expectation of the movie.
Full
There is a
spoilers, by the way.
certain full spoilers. The entirety of the twist at the end. Now, I told this to Jacob when we got out. I did not like the twist for the movie. It felt like something that if you were paying attention, you could have saw coming. But I think they hit it very well, and it did throw me off. But it but besides that, the to me this series has used its legacy characters. I think the best. I think of any franchise going there currently right now. I really do. I think they've shown every character they've, whether the actor or actress doesn't care what's going on in their movies anymore. I think that Scream has shown its legacy characters justice. They have maintained what those characters are, and I think it shows in these movies, past two especially. But it's all about the new characters. I think Melissa is absolutely fantastic in this movie. She To know that's the same girl from In the Heights boggles my mind because that is not they are so different people. Um, and what else can you say about Jenna Ortega? That little girl is just all over Hollywood. She's everywhere. Was she up as a Marvel girl or a DC girl? I'm going on the more side of the DC girl thing. That's where I'm thinking she's gonna go. I think
She's been
she make
more
a
fan
great.
casted in Marvel than she has
I
been in
think she make a
DC.
great Raven. That's
She
why I
has been
think she'd be a
actually
great.
mostly fan casted as Rogue here recently. Is the big one.
So Raven or Rogue,
Yeah,
the two characters with issues, fits Jenna Ortega perfectly. um, but I think this is my favorite Scream because Ghostface gets to shine. It's mainly always been about Sydney versus Ghostface, and obviously Sid takes the majority of the screen time, and Ghostface pops up when he needs to pop up. What I love about this movie is that Ghostface feels like the main character of the movie, subsidently, and that there's a lot more screen time with the mask, and it's nice to see one of these staple horror franchises let their horror character shine like Jason would or Freddy would or Michael would in their movies. You really don't get that with Ghostface because Sydney honestly took more of the sublight from Ghostface because it became her series after a certain point. So it's nice to see Ghostface get that center stage. I think the entire side character cast is fantastic. The twins again are a highlight from Screen Five. Um, this is my favorite version of Gail is in this movie. I thought Courtney Cox her scene in this movie is just so 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 well done. I thought Hayden Panettiere, given what she was given, I thought was really good in the movie. But you can definitely tell she's been away from acting for a while, and that's not a bad thing. People had the same criticisms for when Carrie Fisher came back for Force Awakens, but I thought she did a fantastic job in the movie. I really, really liked her. I thought the kills were awesome. But I think the thing that really put this movie over the edge for me, that really subsided as my second favorite film this year, was the opening. I think the opening completely subverted your expectations going in for the typical girl kill, and no, it completely flips it on you, and you don't see it coming. So well done. So I can't say enough good things about Scream 6. This gets a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Cool, cool.
What about Just
Scream
Away?
Scream 6 is a special film. I knew it was special when they announced it. I do like telling the story because I think it's fun. So I'm going to tell the same story. Zachary's already heard this story. Anybody I see this movie hears the story. Screen Rant, who is not really known for posting, um, they publish as soon as they find something, is what they're known for. And that can give you, like we talked about that in the beginning of the last podcast. The reason why we're doing it monthly is because we want the entire idea. We want the entire scope of the thing. So that's important. And Screen Rant's not that. Screen Rant got a copy of one of the original scripts. And the original script, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's going to, I learned some things. Before I do that, let me quickly explain to you what Scream 6 is about. Scream 6 follows our main cast of characters from Scream 5, outside of Nev and all of them, um, into the new Big Apple, where they're hunted down again by Ghostface, who is more brutal, more vicious, out for a deeply, deeply, badly rooted vengeance, and by far one of the most fucked up twist endings that they've had in a long time. Even though they've done something similar to this, the idea of a family was something else, I tell you.
The last time they did the family angle was like what, Scream 3 or
Scream
Scream 2?
2. It was actually technically they've all been family angles, but the killer family angle was Scream 2.
Timothy
Um,
Oliphant, right, was
no,
and
it's
his
it's
mom.
he was one of them, but it's Billy Lewis's mother. She was one of
Yeah.
the killers. Either way. And there's parts of this movie, once again, I've seen it now 3 times, and I will see it many, 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 many more times. I have a feeling it's going to be playing nonstop for at least the first month that I get it, just because I loved it so
It's this
much.
year's Black Widow.
It is. It is. I always have one. I have one that I see on constant, and it's never, it's always one that ends up being my top 10 of the year. And normally people are like, why is that there? And I'm just like, you just had to be there.
Mhm.
Type of thing. Um, I just really loved Sam as a character. I really loved the sister bonding. I love the slow moments. That's really weird for a Scream movie to have slow moments where it's not just all about, oh my god, who's going to die next? Who's the next, what's the next big setup? No, I like the small moments in like the bedroom where Tara almost gets kissed and she's just laying there and she's smiling and they have these like little happy moments.
Mhm.
I think without me reading so much that I do and watching so many of these that I do, I think seeing the fact, once again, this is full spoilers for anybody out there who's not seen it yet. I'm going to be talking about the killers. Seeing that Quinn surviving, if I didn't know the rules of Ghostface and how many times it's happened before in situations like this, I probably wouldn't have suspected it. Like, I would feel like a newcomer wouldn't suspect it. The one that did catch me off guard, if he was a better actor, would have been Ethan, but the actor they chose was a little too foretelling. And I'm going to
Mhm.
blame that on the actor, not on the writing, because they did write that character in a way that you shouldn't be able to tell that he's going to pop up underneath that mask. Quinn, if you know the rules, you might know. And then once again, I'm going to once again talk about the detective, the actor who we've seen a bunch. I just don't think he can handle villain really well, and so I do
Mhm.
think there's a turning point in the movie where you kind of like, yeah, it's him. Nothing against it though, because the reveal of it, some people like, I really liked, other people don't like. The fact that it's like a fucked up family, it's just so fascinating to me that I didn't mind it. I really liked it. I also think the setup was really nice for the final act. The ladder scene, even on rewatch, is still very intense and very
That's
scary and sad.
terrifying.
The acting
Oh,
in that scene is top
it's,
notch, like top notch. You really do feel
what's
the
the
pain.
what's the sister's name? The twin sister's name? What's her name?
I just know her real name. Mindy
She's in Yellow
is,
Jackets.
yeah, Yasmin is her real name, but Mindy is her
She
name.
kills it in that scene.
It's phenomenal. And the brutality, I can't get over it. Sam goes all murdery. I want a whole movie of it. I will pay to see a whole movie of her murder people. Just because I just I fucking love it. And see, that brings up the next big question that I always had for Scream, that I have Scream for 7. Are we following the killer? That's a nice way to divert expectations. Going around and seeing the kills happen, like, in your face, kind of like a manic way. If you know what that movie is, it's a horror film. Or are we playing along Jenna, who was originally supposed to be the new Sid? That's who they had written it for, which Jenna Ortega would be the new Sydney, where she doesn't realize her sister is murdering everybody. Because I think that's obviously the only way to go forward. And I would say for this group of characters, I would say Scream 7 will probably be the closing
Their final.
chapter. I don't know if they would come back again. It might be the closing chapter of these movies. And I don't know how necessarily mad I'll be. Maybe in 10 more years, they'll come back and they'll be like, we're ready to do it again. And once again, I don't know how mad I would be by that decision. I also don't know if they'd try a TV show again with the actual Scream brand instead of trying to, do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have lived past this and they're ready to move on to other things. There's a lot more things you can do with Scream. It's a very popular franchise,
Mm-hmm.
shown by the box office. This is the best doing one in the entire series, which means that Scream 6 is at the height of the franchise at the moment, kind of like John Wick, Chapter 4, which we're going to talk about here soon. Um, yeah, it's phenomenal. I love it. I wasn't sure if I loved it. I mean, I walked out thinking this is fucking phenomenal. I can't wait to watch this again. But I wanted to see it 2 more times to really make sure that I'm going into this thinking this is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And a ranking for a Scream movie, it is number 2. That's how good it is. The opening, I definitely do agree. Just like Scream 5, changed the expectations of terror living. This one, the reveal of that, which I don't want to ruin here. I know I ruined kind of the killers, but like the opening, I feel like is even better than the actual reveal of the killers, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. It's more shocking. And
Because
then
again, it subverts expectations. You don't expect what happens.
that actual opening line, like the real opening line that starts the movie,
Mm-hmm.
who gives a fuck about movies, is so perfect that it made my sister look at me and say, "What the fuck?" Because that's not Ghostface, and that's my favorite part about this movie is that it's so true to Scream without being true at all,
It's
and
nice.
that's how you elevate something past the point. And also, once again, we've been talking about this for a long time. Playing with a serial killer character like they do with Sam here, it's just fascinating. And I could watch 4 more movies of it if they're willing to do it.